Welcome into another Tuesday night evening blend. I'm Pop Blender, and with me is Matthew Matson. As always, let's full screen that jabroni. There we go, baby. Look at that. Crystal's balls. Wait a minute. Awesome. Awesome. I just actually got him as well. Cover girl looks good. It's a
Hey,
beautiful figure, right?
yeah, look what she's holding there.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that from Alien? Is that
That
a pulse
is
rifle?
that is a pulse rifle. Imagine what kind of nightmares that Crystal Ball is going to give her tonight.
Or they could be two long lost lovers
Could be.
reuniting. Imagine the powers that one crystal ball may have.
Right?
You just pick his gals. Looks good. I just got the trench viper today,
Yep.
and it looks good. Just came in, looking sharp, baby. Love it.
Yeah.
Welcome in, folks. As we always show off Matthew's figures. He always has something interesting at the beginning of the show to show off, and we'll go through a few pics too. We'll go through a few pictures, and then we're gonna knock out a little box office, little Avengers Doomsday or Doomsday leaks that have come out. A little conversation about that. Alien Earth. I did finish episode 3. I know you didn't get a chance to watch it, but we can kind of discuss the first couple, and then episode 3, and I'll give an overview. Whatever. And then later on, I kind of want to have this conversation with you because there's a music channel that I follow, a guy named Rick
Mm.
Beato. All right.
Okay.
And he's been around a long time. He's got a huge YouTube channel, producer in Atlanta, Georgia. And he went and testified at Congress on Spotify and AI bans, right? And like copyright protections and all that stuff. And it is something that in Hollywood has actually come up, and you've got writers and they're trying to protect the sanctity of humans writing shows and movies and stuff. But I think that the toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to get your idea of it later on. Now this just straight off the rip, folks, and then we're going to jump into the chat and welcome everybody in. Is that I explained to Matthew that this may be a little bit of a truncated, is that the right word? Truncated show a little early. I have been battling insomnia for about 3 weeks, and it is at emergency levels, actually.
Yeah.
So this may be a little bit shorter of an episode than normal. I apologize. I did miss a stream on Sunday night, and I really do hate that. But I was in no condition to stream. So
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
yeah, I was in no condition. It really would not have gone well. And I think the last thing you want to do is fall asleep on camera. DSP might. There's some streamers out there who have made that mistake before, and actually some of it might have actually benefited their careers. I don't know. It might benefit mine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're gonna kind of hit some topics. What's that?
Just real quick before anything happens there, Sabir, hey, how you doing? I wanted to say hi. I haven't seen episode 3 yet either, so we're going to talk mostly 1 and 2. But Pop will have a few things to say maybe about 3. But when we get there,
I'm not
worries.
I'm not gonna jump into great detail about it if you haven't seen it. And I'll kind of give my recommendation about it. I love I love the IP. Like if you grew up in our time, how could you not? The first 2 movies, as important as they are,
Yeah.
to science fiction and to suspense thriller. I mean, really, the first movie is a suspense thriller, right?
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah. It's a haunted house horror movie, right?
yes, not schlocky at all. And then the
No.
second movie is completely different, right? But it
Yep.
fed into our 80s, guns and sci-fi and just the action part of it. more
Yep.
so
And
than the first film.
I'm 8 hours into my 20-hour documentary on aliens that
Oh wow.
I helped fund.
Okay. Damn. 20 hours. I mean, I could knock that out. I have no problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's an extra 14. There's a 6-hour documentary, and there's additional 14 hours of the raw interview footage.
See, I don't know. I love that stuff, and you just
Yeah.
don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be the standard, and that was because they were able to produce content
Well,
and
this was
resale.
just made,
Oh, so this is a brand new then.
brand new.
But is it combing old footage and old interviews and putting them together, and are there new interviews?
Some of it, I would say 10% of it is old stuff.
Okay.
But all of the interviews are brand new. Um,
Oh,
so
okay.
they took some stuff from the past and they had people talk about it. They took some archival stuff from a few people who aren't around anymore, but for the most part, everything's brand new. Everything was shot in the last 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I should say 4 years probably, but this documentary has been going on for a while. And then was it last year they released a documentary, and it's like 6 hours, like most of their documentaries are. And then this year they released a special edition addendum to it, which is the 14 hours of raw interviews. It's James Cameron, Gail Ann Hurd, Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, all the people who are still
Nice.
around. So
Yeah.
it's really awesome. It's called Aliens Expanded.
Okay. Well, speaking of expanding, let's expand to the chat for a moment here, and then
Let's just
people
say
roll
hello
in.
to everyone else.
Welcome in, Shane. Same time toys. What's up, buddy? 8:30 on the dot. Probably dozing in and out. Probably at some point in time, gonna have to take somebody to work, right? Yeah, late at night, middle of the night. Ronnie Trickshot, Mr. Anderson. I used to hear that all the time. Actually, I used to hear that all the time.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, everywhere. If I had to show my ID, even at a club, like his music, and the freaking bouncer's like, Mr. Anderson. I'm like, I only wish. Graph is here. What's
Then
up?
your response should always be follow the white rabbit.
You're right. You're right.
Especially if you're in the club.
Yeah, right. As a couple of those clubs were, right straight out of it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Grass's cover girl looking good. Shane says, looks like Mandrake.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but now that you say that, it's like I put that top hat on him because it was a part of an accessory pack from the Necroverse Atticus Doom Mezco. Same with that spell effect that he's got there, and then I use this in the background of some of my pictures too.
That's awesome. Cthulhu, baby.
Yeah,
Looks
yeah. Have
great.
you seen those Cthulhu bunnies, man? That's scary stuff.
I think anything Cthulhu is scary as shit.
No. I mean, have you seen? I sent some of it to you, but the rabbits with the fungus in Colorado.
Oh yes, yeah. I did.
They
I
look
did
like
see
freaking
that.
Cthulhu creatures.
That's anytime you see it with the ants and stuff, fungus and shit like that. It's, oh my god, it's
weird.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Grass is perfect choice for Crystal Ball's magic. A magician's assistant. I agree, 100%.
Absolutely.
Like I said, new lovers. I don't know. Travis Mitchell's here. What's up, Travis?
Right.
Sabir, yes. What's going on, buddy? And like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything in that. Punker Toys is here as well.
Up?
What's up? Let's see.
I highlighted one more that was.
I got you. I'll just go hit up a couple people, then go back to those real quick. 3-star draw. What's up, dude? Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions is here.
What's up?
And this old junk, right? That's the car channel, baby. Go check it out if you are a gearhead.
Nice.
Let's see. All right, boom. Let me get rid of that one. Let's see. There we go. It's like landing planes, dude. So Sabir says, I'm still surprised to learn Beam wasn't always casted as Hicks for the sequel, but there's a lot I missed since that one came out.
Yeah. So Michael Biehn wasn't a big named actor. I mean, he had done Terminator with Cameron, and Cameron knew who he was and liked him. But they had cast James Remar for the role. And then James Remar was arrested for buying coke and methamphetamines from a police officer in London. And he was about ready to spend 10 years in prison. But Gail Ann Hurd hired him a good lawyer and got him deported instead.
Wow.
And so then they had to call Michael Biehn. And so they had already started filming. So all of the props and everybody got to make custom armor and stuff like that. And so Michael Biehn had to come in and literally fill the role. They took James Remar's contract and said Michael Biehn and gave him the exact same contract. Yep. And he stepped right into the role and put James Remar's armor that James Remar had designed on.
Wow.
So that armor that he's wearing was designed by James Remar because everybody designed their own armor for that.
Interesting.
And then, but what most people said was James Remar was a lot cooler, colder. He didn't interact with people very well. because he was on massive amounts of drugs and always looking to score, I'm sure. But Michael Biehn came in and was the warmth, personality, and heart, and it shows in the movie. So it is amazing that he wasn't initially cast for the role, because he was made for it. I mean, he was perfect for that role.
Not to go down a rabbit hole, we won't, but you know how many times that like a band has changed out like a session player and it made all the difference in the world, or a member, right? Got rid of a bass player that was having issues, and it completely changed the trajectory. And it's like, you wonder what that film might have been like, or what that working environment might have been like if it was different. But you hear stories like that all the time.
Yeah.
Or an actor who just happened to be, I mean, the famous one obviously is Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Day Off, right?
Well, Back to the Future.
Or Back to the Future, rather. I'm like, Back to the Future, rather. Yeah, thank you. It's probably the one that most people reference, where they had shot quite a bit.
Yeah, they had.
And then they just said, this just isn't happening. And the actor was too much
I've seen
of a hard time.
Yep, I've seen 5 minutes of the Eric Stoltz footage, and I'm like, yeah, no, that was bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. Yeah, Eric Stoltz. And I mean, look, he had a career.
I mean, I like Eric
Stoltz. They made the right
Stoltz,
choice.
Yeah,
that
role
choice.
was not for him.
Yeah,
what's up, G.I. Jetman?
G.I. Jetman, what's up, buddy? Boy Chandelier. Yeah, Chandelier's, it's Cavalier, but you might as well be Boy Chandelier. What a weird character. And I get where they're going with that. And I'll tell you what, why don't we just... do you want to do the numbers, or you want to jump into Alien Earth? What do you think? You tell me.
Man,
what do you want to do?
I don't think much changed on the box office.
Not much.
We can say that Weapons is killing it. It's made 3 times its production budget back already.
Yes.
So it's profitable. It's in there. It's going to be sticking around a while. People are liking it. Superman is dead in the water. Fantastic Four is dead in the water.
Yep.
And the dinosaurs killed them both.
And you know what? I ended up watching, and we'll show it quickly. I ended up watching a 3-hour and 41-minute breakdown from a YouTuber called Altiori on the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth movie, and that is a terrible movie.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it is what it is.
It's a dinosaur movie where they kill people, and people go in with that expectation, and that's what they get. And
unfortunately,
Scarlett Johansson and a couple other people, and you're like, "Yay, people!"
Do you know how many people that actually do die in the movie, though? Do you know how many people actually die in this movie?
5?
Can you guess? No, it is, I believe, 3 people. 3
okay,
people. So they have all kinds of opportunities to set up really interesting situations.
Yeah,
and then they just shy away from it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, all right. So, yeah, it's really strange. It's a very long breakdown. It's really good. And when you can't sleep, you find things to take up your time. Weapons is killing it. Nobody 2, huge disappointment.
Really?
Huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the first one was so good. I would love to see this one. What's up, Legend Series?
Legend Series. Speaking of which, I was going to mention it, and then we're going to bounce off this. The numbers here. Is that I do have a Talking Figures that's coming out, I believe, in the next couple days. Correct me if I'm wrong. Legend Series. I got a notification. So did a Talking Figures with Legend Series. It was a really good time. I had a really good time. So that should be coming out here pretty soon. So that was really good, man. And if anybody ever gets a chance to do that, it's great interviewer.
I must be too boring for him.
Nope, no. You come up in the conversation. Precursor, you come up in the conversation.
I'm still waiting on that episode that I did some voiceover for. If that worked out or not.
But I mean, speaking of voices, like Tony's just. Come on,
yeah,
man.
He's awesome.
Like, that's about as good as it gets. Truly talented. 3-star. I was going to mention it really quickly, and then we'll jump into Alien Earth. We'll go ahead and knock that out. We watched Monkey.
Yeah.
It was a movie we were going to try to see at the theater. Okay, first and foremost, 3-star and I were going to go see Weapons. Okay,
yeah.
Saturday. It didn't happen because
Oh,
I couldn't sleep.
yeah,
It got too late trying to get some sleep, and then the day got away.
yeah.
But we did hang out for his birthday. Spent the night, hung out. I got him some
Nice.
biker mice from Mars motorcycles, like 3 of them.
Did you
And
get him on clearance at least? No.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I know they don't scale, but you can kind of
No, you
pretend.
can fudge it. You can
Yeah, you
fudge
can
it.
fudge it. Yeah.
And those bikes, I mean, they're very cartoony, but they're still
Yes,
kind
they
of
are.
they're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool. Casey Jones was gone. I was gonna
Yeah.
get, but he was gone. Somebody came and got him. I could have gotten him the day before. I'm an idiot, but that's someone who's not a professional toy collector. So, but nonetheless, so we watched Monkey Saturday night, and I got to tell you, if you haven't seen Monkey, you need to watch it. It's comedic, it's gory, but it's a pretty entertaining movie.
Yeah.
The premise is goofy, but the acting is actually pretty damn good.
Nice.
Like the acting in it is pretty damn good. It was very funny. Very, very funny. So yeah, I would encourage anybody watch Monkey. It's very breezy. It goes by quick, and you'll laugh a lot. Actually,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
We saw
Joe's,
Death of a Unicorn this weekend.
that's such a terrible thing, man.
It's a fun
Unicorns
movie.
all
I
over the
like
world are dying.
it.
What's this world coming to? Punk, you know what? I know you are. I know you are.
Hey, you know what? The commercial that I have the materials for to complete is to put on here for your channel. I'm just saying. I mean, really,
Okay.
it's for Punk, not for Punk to play, unless he wants to
Gotcha.
promote his own show.
Right. Yeah, I have well, not just an idea. I filmed part of it,
Yeah.
and but yeah. Anyway, last 2 or 3 months have been interesting.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, okay. Look, Alien Earth. All right, you watched first 2 episodes.
Mhm.
I got through the first 2 episodes. Episode 1, hey, starts out okay. I'm digging the premise. There's a lot of holes.
There's a lot of holes in it.
A lot of holes. All right. And you have to kind of just go with it. And I thought, okay, first half of it, I'm like, all right, I'm along for the ride, but I'm seeing a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues in the fact that they send 6 or 7 people into a 100-story building to rescue people. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's like they have guns. This is a search and rescue team, by the way, who carry guns.
Yeah, rifles. Yeah, I mean,
and one medic.
Yeah.
One medic, and they never call backup.
But he's an amazing medic. He's like the bestest ever.
He's also really quick on his feet.
Yeah.
Especially at running from a xenomorph.
Yeah.
But
right.
plot contrivances. So yes, there are children that we're told dying. We don't know this as a fact, but we're told they're passing away.
The children believe that they're dying.
They have a disease of some kind, right?
Yeah.
Like cancer, one's crippled, whatever. All right, can you say that anymore? Anyway, so they transfer their brains, their consciousness into a synthetic body, and they call it a hybrid, and it's basically immortality.
Yep.
Now that's a theme you'd think that they would kind of start to expound on and talk about. It really is like barely a blip on the radar to get plot going. All right.
Well, and then I mean the whole premise that they're setting us up with. I mean, it's clearly that Disney owns this, right? The island is called Neverland.
Yeah.
The girl names herself Wendy. Wendy. And then all of the other kids are named after the Lost Boys. But here's the problem with all that. The Lost Boys were the Lost Boys because they wanted to stay young forever. Now, these are young people put into adult bodies. So you're kind of defeating the whole purpose of staying young forever, because now you have all the duties, responsibilities, and everything of an adult, but you have the brain of a child who apparently can never develop beyond being a child.
Yeah, that's the part that, like, you can upload all this information, and in the most recent episode, one of the children is uploaded some information and is able to learn a language basically instantaneously, and so it's kind of, they don't do a great job of really explaining a lot of the things that go along with these complicated
Yeah. And
about what they're created, right?
Menjoza, the Wayland Yutani robot or whatever that is supposed to be. The Wayland Yutani version is obviously supposed to be Hook because he's got the one
Yes.
hand that morphs into other things. And he's got all of the secrets that he's trying to protect. And the xenomorph is the Croc, right? So the Croc that's going to take his hand and, blah, 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 blah.
I think, I mean, what they're, so one of the problems with it, they're introducing a lot of tech and stuff that it doesn't exist in the films. Right. And so how does this stuff not end up in the films, and do you explain that away? Well, I think we all know how this is going to end, right? Like, I don't have to spell it out for you.
In the first episode, they took music cues from Alien. They took music cues from Aliens. They took actual shots and frames from those movies and recreated them so that you can, board the not Nostromo and not Yaphet Kotto, be a main character here. And so they're doing all these nods to the original movies, and some of it's
there's a cat,
cool.
There's a cat, there's a dog, right? They're mimicking or certain scenes in the other movies, right? Of course, there's got to be a cat on board, right?
Right.
And that's a weird scene, whatever. So nonetheless, basically, a regular search and rescue team is sent to check out this ship that crashes into a building, right? It's a Wayland Yutani ship. They've collected alien species.
Which somehow a massive vessel like that can just fly through the atmosphere and crash land on Earth without anything getting in its way or trying to stop it. No emergency alert system, nothing.
So that's what I mean, like, we're not just going to paint by numbers through the episodes, but there are a lot of holes there where your brain goes, wait, how does a ship of a Star Destroyer just?
But we have to have the exposition for the mentally deficient crew member who didn't know that he was working for Wayland Yutani, the largest corporation on the entire planet Earth, and that there are 5 major corporations that run the planet. Oh, and this new kid, Prodigy, who has his own island.
There's a lot going on. They don't explain much of it. There's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of flashbacks. Then there's a flashback of someone so it's her flashback, but then it's the brother's flashback, but then you see the scientist watching her having her flashback of her brother's flashback. So there's like 3 flashbacks going on at the same time.
Total Inception moment.
What is happening here? Inception. Nonetheless, they end up sending these child synths or hybrids to the crash site as well to collect the alien specimens, because the boy genius wants these new toys that are from some other company, right? And so he's like, oh, something new to experiment on. Now, he just created immortality and immediately is like, ooh, aliens. Forget immortality. I want aliens to experiment on. So basically they send the kids. Second episode is very schlocky. There's a lot of the xenomorph doing a lot of killing for no reason. It's not in their DNA to do that. They just want to host, but instead it's very
I mean, it's been kind of established they are killing machines.
They are,
right?
but
but look, okay. This alien is not a queen. We don't know that there's a queen. So capturing people for breeding doesn't seem necessary. So it's probably just bent on killing.
I mean, I guess I can buy that, right? Like I'll buy that. I'll concede that. Okay. Like it's just freaking out. Doesn't know where the hell it's at. And there's people that aren't even a direct threat, but it doesn't matter. Right. So episode 2 gets really schlocky. There's a lot of plot contrivances and it really, in my opinion, at that point, I thought, oh no, here we go. Like a great premise, and they literally just decided that we're going to make this, write this in such a way that not only is it really unbelievable that the way characters are able to escape or whatever, but also that there's so many holes within the story itself that don't make sense, that your brain's trying to piece together just any information that might be connective tissue with each other, and there's nothing there. Like there's nothing there. Shit just doesn't make any sense. So the kids, with our Rutger Hauer stand-in, Timothy Olyphant as a white-haired android or
Missing
synthetic,
eyebrows.
missing eyebrows. Look,
Total Wrecker Hauer movement.
yeah, the references are there. He leads these children in.
I mean, it's not like they're trying to connect the Blade Runner universe to the Aliens Predator universe or anything like that, right? They
Oh,
wouldn't. They
I,
wouldn't dare do that. Oh wait, they
oh wait,
did.
they have done
They
that.
have done that
So
in a
so
movie.
uh
Yeah, Soldier and okay. Anyway,
so um so he leads the kids to the crash site to capture these specimens, but our main character, Wendy, the first girl that's transferred over, her brother is a medic, and she sees that he's in distress, so she
yeah, but
wants to
she's
go
been
save him.
stalking him, right? So
She's yeah,
they realize this that she's been stalking him, watching his every move, checking in on him all the time.
yes, she has the ability to basically manipulate the internet, so she can actually, I don't know how, but she's able to see camera angles that I don't know. It's whatever.
She's like nanotechnology. She just has to touch it, and then she has full access to
Yes.
it.
Now, one main thing is that the brother thinks she's dead.
Right.
She has been transferred into a synthetic body, but it is her.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like, okay, that's a very interesting premise that, the brother's been lied to. How would he feel? If she finds him and rescues him, how does he react to that? What are you talking about? No, get away from me. I don't know what you are. No, they resolved that literally within a minute.
I was gonna say, yeah, it was like 2 minutes. A little comment. What 6 lines, and
A
he's like, "Oh,
Christmas
good,
memory,
he's good." Yeah,
a
the
Christmas
Christmas
memory
memory that
with
was
a
the one that did it.
stupid line.
Yeah, stupid,
And
stupid line.
so that premise is thrown out the window. At this
Yep.
point, he fully accepts it's his sister, even though she doesn't look anything like his sister, but she has memories.
Yeah.
Okay, but he doesn't care. Big deal.
Well, and so we don't fully understand the problems with these new bodies because they didn't explain anything about sensory resolution. Can they
Nothing.
feel? Can they feel anything? We don't
No
know.
emotion,
Yeah, I mean, no emotion,
evidently.
right? Right. I mean, and they just have their program things. They talked briefly about manipulating hormones because they're adults and helping them transition to adult hormones.
Right.
And she talks about what are these things to talk about,
Oh, her boobs.
her
Like,
boobs.
that's the
Yeah.
first comment she makes when she transitions
Yeah. What?
in
Okay. Okay.
in
So these are conversations that you would have had before that, knowing that she's
Yes.
going into an adult body.
Yes. It
Yeah. There's a lot of things that they could explore that would have been interesting in dynamics, but
right.
they won't. They're not even going to touch it.
So, and again, look, you want to watch the show, by all means, go ahead and watch the show. There are some fun scenes. There are some interesting things within it. I continue to watch. I just thought episode 2 kind of shit the bed.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they find the brother, they find the specimens, and they're able to kind of contain and get everybody. There is the brother does get captured by the xenomorph, and the sister at the end of episode 2 has to go track him down and the alien. And that's kind of where episode 3 leads into.
Right.
Now, I'll just give you an idea about episode 3 without really spoiling anything or anything like that. If you've seen the trailers at all, she finds him and she finds the alien. So there's a battle that ensues. And then at some point, the specimens are brought back to the island in the middle of the ocean, to the research facility. The children are also brought back. They have some encounters with a character that was on the ship when it crashed, the sole survivor.
Yeah.
They have an encounter, and he's the cyborg, right? And so then the premise is now he doesn't know what they are, but he knows something's up, and he's able to communicate in a way with one of the children. And so the basic premise, I think, of the show ultimately setting up is they bring these specimens back. The boy genius wants to experiment. And so it's like you're on an isolated island and you can run experiments. You can send teams of humans out and try to track these specimens. Maybe they die, maybe they don't, maybe they get overtaken, and you can then experiment on the humans. So that's kind of I think the premise of the show ultimately. and we because we don't see this technology in the movies that are in the future, then we kind of know that this is going to get wrapped up with a bow or a nuke or something like that. I mean, it's like
Well,
none of
so
this stuff escapes the island. That's my guess,
well,
ultimately.
so technically you could say that Alien 3 and 4 has some of this technology in it. The way that they did those movies, because the android that gets sent to the prison planet is supposedly a uh, simulated clone of Wayland, right?
Yeah,
So I mean, it's supposed to have all of his thoughts and memories. It's supposed to be him for all
right.
intents and purposes, right? So and then in the fourth one, you've got the living robot one too. So I mean, that's way far in the future, but there's threads that you could pull through there. There is a lot of potential with this, but this is the problem with telling prequels: is the technology is always better when you tell a prequel because you're making it after the original, but you have to try and tell a story from the original world. And this is the problem that the prequels had too, because you had a higher level of technology. And you say, well, the Empire destroyed it all. Like, okay, sure. But when did everybody become slow and monotonous with their sword fighting? And in the past, they
Right.
were, so dynamic. Oh, well, they didn't have anybody to train them. Well, there would still be archival footage, right? Yeah. I mean, we saw that there was. So,
Right. There,
there's always problems with prequels.
you're right. And it just opens up a lot of holes. And so you have to have clever writers who are able to thread those needles. And
Yeah.
so here's what's happened ultimately. The showrunner has basically said this could be an alternate take. This could be in an alternate timeline. He's already thrown that out that, well, I don't know if we're gonna, stick to the canon so closely. This could be an alternate take. So now you're covering your tracks,
Yeah.
right? And just saying, well, it's just a story. It's a standalone story in its own thing, and it doesn't have to fit. And so if that's the case, so be it. Whatever. Um,
And any of these things could be or should be considered Elseworlds or whatever. But the Dark Horse comic series, I thought did a wonderful job. And if they had just adapted stories that they told from that,
right.
I mean, they did the best Aliens sequel with Newt and Hicks and Ripley progressing in their lives and what happened to them after that in the comics than anybody else has ever done, obviously, because they all got killed in Alien 3. So,
Right. Um, yeah. So look, episode three is better. Okay. It actually is a better made episode than episode two. I just wonder if we're gonna do this seesaw, this up and down, like where you get a decent episode, then you get one
yeah,
that's just
I,
brutal, and then
yeah,
back and forth, back and forth. I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. I'm with you. I feel like it's going to be a yo yo ride. There's going to
Yeah.
be enough for people to like it to say, yeah, it was okay. And
Oh, I
it's like
think so.
like Superman and Fantastic Four. It's Midland. It's like meh, it's just enough to be okay.
Um,
Right?
yeah, and look, everything's a multiverse now, right? Like they do that deliberately so that
Yeah.
you can write yourself
Scapegoat.
out of a corner, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
because
Jet Man.
nobody wants to tell a simple story anymore.
No, right. I mean, it's no, I don't watch The Walking Dead.
No, I never have. I watched the first episode, knew exactly where the whole ththing was going, didn't care to watch it, never watched another episode.
Well, I think for me, like it's a premise that personally it really has to grab my attention. I think with zombies and stuff like that. I mean, I don't mind the premise at all, post-apocalyptic type of world, so to speak. But I've played so many video games of that by the time the show came around, it just really wasn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And I know my cousin kind of fell off of it because it ended up
Yeah.
being all talk and no action,
Right.
baby. You know
So
what I
I
mean?
mean
It's
the only zombie things that I need are the original, Night of the Living Dead, Zombieland, and Shaun of the Dead. Right. I mean those are
Zombieland's
really
so good.
and I wish they could make a decent Resident Evil movie. kind of like the first one,
They
but
got a new one. They got a new one that's in the works.
yeah, but I want them to go back to the video game story. I want them to use the actual story from the original video game and
They're
go
not
from there.
doing that.
I know they can't do that, right?
I mean, they
they have to
literally
live.
said they're not telling Leon's story or
Well, I don't.
whatever. And
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like,
care about Leon.
okay,
I mean, you've got Jill also. You've got Claire.
I'm
You
with
know,
you. I'm
I
with you.
mean, you've
I
got
would
enough
rather that.
characters there
Mm-hmm.
that you can explore something interesting with each
Yes,
one of
sir.
those characters and the Umbrella Corporation itself. The Mila Jovovich movies tried to bring in some of that stuff later, and they did
Yeah.
I don't know, an okay job adapting the third game, but yeah, I mean, the third game wasn't good. So,
No. I mean, no. But I'm with you. I wish they would adapt that material instead. But they clearly said that they're just not going to do that.
I mean, that
Clint.
original Biohazard, that first game, was probably it scared the crap out of me because the PlayStation load times were just perfect the way they set it up, where you go
Oh yeah, when you walk
click,
it into a.
click as you're stepping through, and click, 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 and then it loads, and you're going to sit there, you're waiting, what am I? And then boom, the
And then
music starts, and something happens, right?
Yes. No, you're right. And that trying to mask the load time, right, to
Yeah,
load up the new area or room,
yeah.
and it
It was
created a
brilliant.
thing, right? It
It's
created a
brilliant
thing.
tension. It
Yep,
was so well
I'm with
done.
you. Clint Jorgensen is here too. Says Walking Dead was awesome. Watched it all the way to the end. I mean, I know a few
It's,
people
yeah,
who really did and loved it, but I think got to a certain point, and as all shows do, they lose steam, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you can only rinse and repeat, I think, so long. Of course, they did the spinoffs and stuff, but yeah, just wasn't my bag. But I do know. I mean, obviously, it's a huge show. A lot of people
Yep.
love it, but yeah, the last RE movie was as close to the game as they've done. Yeah, they are making a new one, and so we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I think at this point the public's trust in Resident Evil as other than a video game entry is
Yeah.
probably at a very low point. Very low
I
point.
mean,
I
there are
remember that.
Mila Jovovich fans that will go to see anything that she's in. So, if
I
she's in
can't
it,
argue with that, baby.
I mean, if she's in it, there's people that are going to go
Can't
see
argue
it.
with
But
that. Nightmare Creatures. I remember that game. Nightmare Creatures Mendoza. I definitely remember that game. That was a cool game and a cool premise too. Yeah, Dreadnought K6 says Walking Dead was awesome until Negan was introduced. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, and then it kind of went off the rails. They killed
yeah,
off a main character, and there you go, right? You jumped a shark. Um, so yeah, look, check out Alien Earth at your peril. If you're into this, if you're into the IP, there's parts you're gonna like, and then there's parts that's gonna drive you batty, and you're
yep,
gonna be like, "Why is this happening? Who wrote this?" And the dialogue seems like it was written by children, so which is kind of the norm these days.
yeah.
I did want to ask you about Simon Kinberg.
Hmm.
Simon Kinberg is doing a new Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
Now, Simon Kinberg has a very long history. He did Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He did Sherlock Holmes. I mean, he's done a lot of good movies. He's also done a lot of bad movies. But a very long history of some good stuff and some kind of bad stuff. He did write some Star Wars Rebels episodes for those that like that animated feature. Um, but he did an interview talking about his inspirations, the creatives that inspired him. And he brought up Tony Gilroy, who did Andor, which I recommend to anyone.
yep,
Uh, if he wants to go down that path, I'm okay with it. Um, but will Disney let him go down that path for three
yeah,
feature films? I doubt it.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, if they're successful,
I mean, it is. Now, look, he says he's been a big fan. There's pictures of him in childhood wearing Star Wars T-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that, right? And this is kind of a dream come true. Um, do you think that maybe this is someone Disney can just kind of say, hey, this is what we want and this is what we want you to do, rather than bringing in someone who actually has an idea and wants to see that idea out, and they give him full, carte
yeah.
blanche.
Disney as a corporation, they despise ideas. Okay, so they are adverse to ideas, especially good ones. Corporations are adverse to good ideas. What they do is they take the lowest common denominator. They take the people that they can manipulate the easiest and put them in charge because they know that they can manipulate them from the board on down, and they'll fall in line and they'll do what they're told because they're good little soldiers. So unless they're hiring somebody because of a name or an identity, they're
Right.
not going to promote it. And if they get somebody that fits that, then they're gonna put it on the marquee, right? Otherwise,
Right.
they're hiring people that they can manipulate, and that's it. Because this is all corporate mess nonsense. There's not a creative bone left in anywhere in Disney in any of their franchises.
I mean, look, it's no secret we bag on them all the time, and I don't give a shit because I enjoy it. They've just not made good. I mean, Star Wars, or it doesn't even matter, Star Wars or otherwise. They've
Yeah,
really struggled the last like at least 5 years for sure. And
yeah. I mean, you think about the Han Solo movie, right?
oh,
And
that yeah,
they
mess.
they they put two of the most talented and hot people in charge of it until Kathleen Kennedy said, "No, we're not doing that," and fired him to bring in
Yeah.
Ron Howard to reshoot the entire freaking movie. So that movie cost well over $500 million to make.
Well, they should have brought some lights to the set.
Well, I mean, yeah, they should have done something.
That
You
movie's
know,
so dark.
they hired the guy from Game of Thrones, right? The guy who shot the battle scene at Winterfell, right? The guy with
Yeah.
who did everything in super saturated blacks with no lights. Yeah, no,
That whole scene, especially with when he's in the Imperial Army, and
hey,
you can't
hey,
you can't
Pop,
see
your
anything.
your TV's just not good enough. You need to buy a better
Oh
TV.
God, that's right. The Game of Thrones controversy. You need a better television. You pleb fan out there. You know,
You just
fucking
don't have a high
kidding
enough
me.
quality
God, that
television,
stuff
and
kills me.
you crushed your blacks too much, and yeah, that's why you can't see. No,
That's
no,
racist.
no.
Um. So, so looking at Kinberg's filmography, Dark Phoenix, shit movie. X-Men Apocalypse, Days of Future Past, okay. Last Stand, First Class, decent. Fantastic Four, Twilight Zone, New Mutants, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Logan,
Well, so
Deadpool.
he got two runs
He
at the
he's a
Phoenix.
writer. He's really a
Yep,
writer
he
at
is,
heart. So that's why these credits. This is not him
and
directing all this.
and
This is
not a
mostly
very
writing.
good one because he had two opportunities at the Dark Phoenix saga for X Men, and he screwed the pooch on both of them.
I mean, looking through here though. I mean, Deadpool, Jumper, Sherlock Holmes, Elysium,
Eh.
The Martian. I mean, that was fun.
Okay, so
Deadpool Wolverine being the most recent real big
yeah,
success.
okay, let's go back to the
Chappie.
Martian. Let's go back to the
Okay.
Martian for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, he's getting writing credit for the Martian, or what's his credit on the Martian?
Let's see. I'm guessing probably writing credit.
So, I mean, I really don't know what his skill set is because he's been loosely associated with some very good properties. And if he's on the writing staff, I mean, it's an adaptation of a book. The book was so perfectly written that
Yeah.
they have to use most of it, and obviously they have to change a couple things here and there. But basically, he's tweaking what was already there.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not even listed as credited as a writer on The Martian
Okay,
for
so
one.
what was his
So,
job
so
on The Martian?
right, like you know what I mean? Like it's like
I I
it's,
mean, did you go to his profile and then search for what he's
that
done,
that that
or
I'm just gonna dig it up
because
real quick.
if
Just
otherwise
I just
it
out of
could be stuff that's
curiosity.
associated with him.
Received a producer credit.
Oh, so even less involved. Okay,
Very much less
so
involved.
I understand this is the goal of people like James Gunn and J.J. Abrams and some of these other guys in Hollywood. They got in
Right.
Hollywood and they are supposed creators and they want to be creative, but the only way they can be creative is if they become a producer and how the producers get to manipulate things. So
Right.
I get that. Whereas back in the day, producers are just the numbers people that make sure that stuff gets done so the creatives can have their way. Now it's the other way around. The producers are some of the creatives, so they have less control over it because they don't have writing credit, they don't
Right.
have directing credit, they have producer credit, and so they can try and manipulate it. But then they got to hire competent staff, and You know,
Well,
the whole system is broken now because the
I,
whole way to make movies is broken.
I was just curious. I mean, look, he's a name. Rather
Yes,
than
he has a name. You're
casting
right.
directors, he does have a name that people do recognize. And I
Will
wonder
any
if
of those movies come to fruition? No, they won't.
I I think they're I think just waiting until they can. I think they're waiting until Lucas kicks the bucket so they can remake the OT.
I don't know if they're waiting until he kicks the bucket. I think they're waiting for the right opportunity, and I don't know what that's going to be because if they wait till he kicks the bucket to do it, then he's gone, so they can't do that. But
Right.
um, specifically in the contract for buying it was that you can't touch these movies. They're not allowed to touch the original trilogy. They can't remake it. They can't edit it. They can't change it. They can't do anything to it. That was in the contract. Now, Disney's not going to abide by the contract because
No,
they
they're
they
made to be
don't.
broken.
They break most of their contracts. They screw over every employee that they've ever had, especially the artists and creatives. Since the dawn of time, they have used and abused people, and people just always forget what they did to their artists in the 60s and 70s and how pissed off that they made people so that they made their own animation studios and had a couple successes and then burned out and flamed out or whatever. But they were
Right.
amazing talent, but Disney crushed them.
No, actually, so Dreadnought, it's not that we have failed to mention this. I definitely have brought this up, especially on Sunday nights. And you're right. There that now Disney's not the only one, right? I mean,
No.
this is across the board. Like all of that you just listed there, is across the board in corporate America, right? I mean, it just took over it like wildfire, and the money was unavoidable. Companies that take that money, but you got to give something back in return. Well, what is that? Well, you got to sell out your creative,
Yeah.
your creative process and your authenticity, right?
Well,
So
and now they're realizing that taking
that,
that money, that short term money, to
yes.
abide by those rules didn't pay off, and so they actually lost so much more money that they are like, no, we're not doing this.
So we've seen it. Oh, now we're it's there's a course correction, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're seeing it. We've seen
yeah,
it in real. You've seen it in real time. Now,
yeah.
still going to be there, but you've seen some very overt things in real time, like the Sydney Sweeney jeans thing and other things that have been like, hey, let's go the other way, right? So people know we're going the other way, but I still believe that a lot of that will be in the background. Frank Duman, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's look at that butt. Doing the butt. No, you're full screen now. Sexy, sexy. Ain't nothing wrong. All right, ain't nothing wrong with that butt. So look, see, look, there he is. That's all you gotta do. You say those two words together right there. It's the alliteration, Ronnie. You heard
It's
the
a sweet,
SS.
sweet Sydney Sweeney
Woo!
sound.
It's a sweet Sydney Sweeney symphony of life. That's what it is. I can't change. I can't change. I can't change. Anyway, okay, let's get into this because I want to hear your thoughts on this. Avengers Doomsday Leak. The crux of Avengers Doomsday is Captain America. Captain America making the decision to shirk his responsibilities, and I can't blame him for going to hang out with Peggy Carter, okay? But Cap wouldn't do that.
No,
We all knew that at the end of the movie.
it was one of the two biggest flaws in Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, really, well, yeah. They're two biggest ones. One is killing Tony Stark. The other one is having Captain America decide to not do anything.
Well, no, having Tony Stark not sacrifice himself completely and everything that he is for everyone else by that 5 year time gap that fucked everything up. And then Captain America going back in time. Those are two out of character moments for both of those characters.
Yeah,
and it
you're
screws up.
right.
And it totally screws up the entire Marvel universe forever. And
I just
now
thought
we
kind
see
of
it.
killing those characters off, so to speak, was a huge mistake.
I don't think so. It's fine. If
I
you
mean,
want to
look,
kill
if it works for the story, but you got to recast. It's like you just
exactly.
chug along,
Yes.
and when you do something like that, you kind of take yourself out of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Now
there's
they're
stories to
bringing these
tell.
guys back.
There's stories to tell if they die and then who you replace them with. But at the same time, there's also stories to tell that did they really die? And you
Well,
could,
and you're right. You're right. I mean, but either way, so here's the deal. This is what the leaks are purported that Chris Evans, returning, um and
yay,
and
shocker. Nobody knew
and
that was happening. Oh, wait,
right.
everybody knew that was happening.
So basically, it says that a rumor hit the net. Marvel Studios is using a code name for Chris Evans on the set. The code name claimed to be used is Luke Cage. It says Luke Cage in relation to Avengers Doomsday will ring a bell. Leaks have said Marvel erected a 1960s style U.S. house for Cage on the set. Okay, so here's the house. You see it. So basically, Doctor Doom at the end of Fantastic Four, first steps, is with the child, right? And it's kind of the after scene, right? After credit or end scene, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently, Doom has figured out. If you don't want to hear this, turn it down. But take it with a grain of salt, right? That because Cap decided to go back and live with Peggy and live a normal life, the multiverses are collapsing. And Doctor Doom has figured this out. He's figured out why. And he needs to go back and get the Fantastic Four to help him. He's not a villain. To go back and figure out how to either stop Cap from doing this or kill Cap before he can do this. Maybe going back in time to the 60s. I assume Chris Evans would definitely be back. What do you think? If that is the basic crux of Doomsday, that the multiverse is collapsing, Doctor Doom has figured out how to stop it. What do you think about that premise?
That premise has been foreshadowed in Endgame with Smart Hulk talking about it. So they had already talked about it, and Cap wasn't listening, and he defied all known knowledge and decided to screw up the plan for his own benefit, which is totally not Captain America. So I don't care about the MCU much anymore.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And this is just further evidence to show that okay, yeah, you're finally connecting a dot in a storyline. Guess what? I don't care anymore. You've ruined all the characters. You've ruined the storylines. I don't know that this is going to be exciting. This is going to be such an amalgamated mess of cameos after cameos after cameos that nobody's going to have an arc. Nobody's going to have any satisfying moment on screen. And then you're going to bring back these people for 2 seconds of time. And you're going to do what everybody said you were going to do. The only way you'd bring Chris Evans back is to play Hydra Cap. So he's going to be evil Cap. Right?
So look at this. This is a cast list, and then you get a hyphen at the end with 33 more rumored.
Not really rumored. I mean, they went through 26 on that stream,
right.
And then there were two more or three more, four more that they had filmed shares for that they hadn't worked contracts on, and I believe two of them they've worked contracts on them now, so we know we're going to see them coming up.
So this is the 26, I'm pretty sure, and then it says with 33 more rumored.
Yeah,
it's I just don't know how they're going to pull all that together. Now, look, if that's the premise and that's what they want to go with, and Doom is not a villain, he is more of a friend in the movies. Some people probably are not going to like that. Obviously, if they're going to make this into 2 or 3 movies, there has to be some tension. There has to be some conflict.
Yeah.
And so, does he create what's it called, the place where he has everybody, where they kind of fight it out, battle it out? He's kind of got his own little world. I can't remember the name of Doctor Doom. It's in the comics.
Okay.
But and he basically has everybody kind of stuck there.
Yeah,
and it's just
Graf asked a great question.
Yeah, I was gonna hit that up. Basically,
Nobody cares.
no one gives a shit. And thank you, GI Jetman, for Battle World. That's it, Battle World. And it are we going there? How do they set that up? I mean, you got a lot of people to juggle. So even if you've got a plot, how do you execute a plot when you've got that many people? And
Right.
do any do half of them get even a line of dialogue more than like
No, they don't,
five
because we
words?
actually know this because of the people that have already commented, said, "Hey, I've already filled my part," or whatever. Because there's no lines, they don't have to care. But does the Latvian Walmart have crystal ball? I mean, that's the question.
And is there a website, People of Latvian Walmart?
Yeah, there should be, because the people of Walmart is the most amazing thing ever, and everybody
It
should
it
go visit
is
it.
truly is a sight to behold. That's for sure. I mean, I know my local Walmart sometimes is, um, but but yeah, I look and yes, seem
I don't I don't remember him being in that chair list because nobody cares.
I mean, he is. He's already
I
been
didn't think he was.
named.
I thought he was one of the people that was left off the list, and everybody's like, "What about this?"
He's
And he's
he's
like,
on
"No,
he's on this list in
okay,
this article. He's sandwiched in between Florence Pugh and Tom Hiddleston, which is I guess as a human being, probably a pretty good place to be, in my opinion. I mean, look, get your
well."
freak on. But yeah, no, I
You get clip art man and a hot chick. I don't know. The clip art guy can go
I
away.
I know,
You can
I
just
know.
clip him right out.
She is cute.
Canadian clip art man.
Canadian clip art man. Uh, Johnny Reno, what's going on? Cheers to you, sir, as always. So yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know how they're going to pull this off. But if that is the premise, if in fact it revolves around Chris Evans and his Cap character and them having to do something with that to stop the multiverses from collapsing, I just don't think at this point that people will be satisfied because it took them years and many movies to build up to Avengers and Infinity War and Endgame, right? To build up to Civil War, to build like you had so much build up, so much anticipation. Um, there's no build up here. It's just like Graff
Here it
said,
is.
like Eternals and Shang Chi. Those movies don't lead into anything. They were leading into Kang.
Well,
Now
I
you've
mean,
changed gears. How are you going to lead in?
what was it? Was it an Ironheart that they finally referenced the things, the creature in the water at the end of Eternals?
Oh yeah,
So it
yeah,
was finally mentioned
yeah.
in Riri's TV show that nobody watched and nobody cares about because it was utter garbage, and it was probably one of the most racist things that's ever been put on television.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Look, um, I just don't know if they're banking on making $1 billion when they have to pay all those salaries for this. You know what I mean? Like you've really, really, really got to knock it out of the park, and I just don't know if they got $1 billion in them anymore. I think five,
So
600, 500 million is like the new
yeah,
standard for a Marvel movie now.
well, I mean, yeah, and they need to adjust the budgets accordingly, and they haven't, and they're not going to,
No,
because the investors are still paying, right? So their investors, the people that give them their money to make all this stuff, are still giving them money, and I can't figure out why, because there has been no return on investment. They have
yeah,
lost billions of dollars at this
definitely
point.
in the last in the last few years for sure, man. And the interest has completely dropped off. And if you probably looked at Parrot Analytics, which whatever you think about Parrot Analytics, if you looked at Parrot Analytics, I would say that the people talking about it, discussing it, even when a rumor, a Marvel leak or something comes out or a set photo, is very minimum.
Yeah.
Very minimal. Look, Spider Man is going to have to carry a lot of weight.
So Spider
Have to
Man
do a
is going to
heavy
make them the
lifting.
most money. Spider Man is going to make them a ton of money. Spider Man is going to be the only successful thing that they have coming, and they got to pay most of that back to Sony. So Disney's not making the profit on that. Sony is, because they're like, you got
Right,
all the expense, we get all the money.
right.
So yay for Spider-Man, and that'll be entertaining because Sony's got input on it, and they're going to quell some of Disney's nonsense. But and Spider-Man's going to actually finally be Spider-Man. It's
Right.
going to be amazing. He's finally in his fourth movie going to finally be Spider-Man.
And Holland is probably going to just hang that up after the Doomsday
Yep.
movies
Yep.
until they
Well,
offer him a
so
lot more money.
yeah, I mean, once these movies are done, he's out.
Yeah.
He's got a
Yeah.
life. He wants to live it, and he's kind of done with this nonsense. But again, that could always be a negotiating tactic, also.
That's true, and you definitely have to consider that. So I wanted to show something I saw at my local gas station. I want to show you guys something I saw at my local gas station, and this
Is this?
harken.
Are you bringing this up again? Is this the same stuff that you showed earlier?
No, 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 no. This reminds me of my childhood.
Oh, okay,
Only
okay.
it's not on a spin rack, folks. They have a DC comic stand at the local Circle K gas station.
Wow,
This just showed up
that's
like
awesome.
this morning or yesterday because I just stopped by this place a couple days ago and this was not here by the register. So this is DC attempting to get comics out in kids' hands. It's what, 329.
Yeah,
I think it may have a couple comics in there. It's not the old spin racks photoshopped graph.
yeah,
That's funny.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, if I even knew how. But I had to take a picture of it. I was like, what?
Hey, you know
And
what? I am all for this now that
me
Diamond
too.
Distribution is defunct.
Yeah,
You got to get these books out there.
why
You
not?
got to get them back in kids' hands. But
Kids don't
the
give a shit.
problem is you have to have appropriate material for them,
So look at
and the current DC comics don't
Well,
fit appropriate
okay.
material.
So look at the titles. Justice League Unlimited,
Oh
Batman
yeah,
the Adventure Continues. That's from the animated, right? You've
there you
got
go.
now Penguin, Pain and Prejudice might be a little more
Yep.
up there, but Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, you've got Adventure Superman, Lois and Clark, and then you've got, again, this is based off of Batman Beyond, I
Yeah.
believe, or down here, or Brave and Bold maybe. But so that's more kid friendly for sure.
So the best thing that they could ever do is just go into their catalog and reprint
Oh, you're
their
right. You're
greatest hits
absolutely right.
and throw them back in the convenience stores. Just mass produce them, put them out there, and say, hey, come get them, check them out, look at them, whatever, and have people walk by and say, oh, that's neat looking. What's
I
that?
mean,
And then their kids are going to pick it up. And, that's the way you get people enthused about it again. Is you come back to the stories that were successful and you
yeah,
reprint them because it
I'm
doesn't
with you.
cost you a whole lot to reprint them other than the printing costs, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm
And
with
the
you.
way these companies run, they don't even have to pay royalties on any of this bullshit because they screw their writers out of everything
It's
and artists.
it is interesting though. I walk in and I'm like, what the hell? And as a kid, you could go in and there'd be a spin rack, and I bought many AGI Joe comic at the
That's where I
local
bought my
market.
first GI Joe comics. Was the 7-Eleven on the way home from church, getting a
Many
Slurpee
comics,
and a comic
yes,
book.
absolutely. That was the standard. I mean, if you
Yeah,
didn't get a chance to go to the comic shop, then you'd
the
stop in
comic shops
and
didn't exist back then. Come on.
well, hey, they did for me. I had two go tos that I went to. I would spend a couple
There,
hours in there. My mom would come back and pick me up, and I would get
there were no comic book stores where I was until early 90s, late 80s, maybe.
really. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was. I mean, I was probably what 10, 11 years old, 12 years old. My mom would drop me off and go somewhere, and I'd stay in the comic shop. And I'd thumb through everything, and that's how I got my Punisher limited 1 through 5, and
Nice.
other series and all my GI Joes and transfer, all that stuff. Sergeant Rock. So, God, I love
Sergeant Rock.
Dude.
Yeah.
I loved reading the Sergeant Rock World War
Yeah.
II. Not the fantasy, but the World War II Nazi stuff like those. I loved those books. And
Didn't
yeah,
Larry Hama write most of those?
I think so.
I
Um,
know that he wrote that book for a little while. Yeah.
yeah. There was many. many
Yeah.
of
Oh
them.
yeah.
But I used to love them. Love the covers. I just thought those covers were so unique and the art style.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie. Um, you know, I might have been lurking. If somebody overheard a conversation at DC and said, "Hey, we need to get a comic stand there because this guy's going places." 3 star Collector's World and Great Escape. Yeah, those were the two. Those were the two plays. Graph says Psycho 5 and Dream Strands. Were those your comic shop names? Psycho 5 and Dream Strands? Interesting. Viper
Yep.
Scout says my first
I didn't
comic
get
was
one
a
until Lone Star Comics.
Lone Star. So, Viper Scout, what's up? Buddy says my
What's
first
up?
comic was a polybag 3-pack of G.I. Joe comics from Walgreens. Yeah, you used to get those 3 packs, get those grab bags sometimes.
Yeah.
Whatever you could get, right? I mean, it was a kind of a way to a different world, right? If you went on vacation, you brought a bunch of comics with you. I mean, that's what I
I had a
did.
couple amazing Spider-Man comics, and I have no idea where they came from. I just had them. I don't know where they came from, but I had them. And
I
quite
mean,
honestly, the cover of one of those Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man comic books, had Spider-Man and the Green Goblin kind of fighting it out, and I did that as an art project. I recreated it in action figure form. I did the
nice.
whole cover. I mean, that was a very inspirational cover. And the other one was kind of too, because it had Spider-Man coming through and punching out Hammerhead and Doc Ock.
Okay.
Those are the first 2 comic books that I ever had.
So I one of my most memorable is Craven's Last Stand,
Oh man, you lucky son of a gun.
and I have all of them still from the originals, and I kept track of it. It crossed 3 different comics, 3 different Spider-Man comics. But man, I love that. I
Hey,
love
we
that
are
storyline.
official. Nolan has joined us. What's up,
Oh,
Nolan?
hey, hey, hey! What's up, Nolan? Good to see you, my friend. Clint says last time I went to a comic shop was about a DC Marvel 5-part series in early '96. Wow, that was a long time ago, buddy. Yeah, childhood comic shops, but 7-Eleven was definitely a
7-Eleven.
go-to. And
Yeah.
if you had a local arcade for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
arcade would have them. Yeah.
yeah. Swamp Thing was not one I
Oh
was really
man,
into.
the
Now the
Alan
the
Moore
Adrian
Swamp Thing.
Barbeau movie. When as a kid, I used to
Man,
love that. But yeah,
that Alan Moore run on Swamp Thing is
good stuff.
just a
That's
masterpiece.
awesome, man. Yeah, I just love it because most of us and they come in here and obviously watch a lot of the other channels that we know, uh, collected comics. I would assume, right? Like it's part and parcel, right, with the love of like GI Joe or Transformers or whatever you collect now. It
Yeah.
just kind of goes hand in hand, right? And so I love it, dude. I still love comics. I got a lot to read, Matthew.
Hey, I'm still picking up Moon Knight books. The story's going all over the place, but I still like the Moon Knight comics, and obviously the Titan comics, Conan,
Yeah,
GI Joe. Um, that's about it. I get the Nightwing because my wife loves Nightwing, so I get her all the Nightwing comics.
that's cool. I love that. Love to hear that. That's great. Windy City Comics for Viper Scout. Uh, yeah, man. I spent many an hour. I remember the death of Superman.
Oh yeah,
When
I
that came
remember when
out,
that hit. Yep.
right? All that. I mean, some of those, so quote
So
unquote iconic.
the death of
Those.
Superman, but let's see when. So I was heavy into collecting comic books at the time, and that Ed Brubaker run of Captain America was so iconic, is so iconic. And when you get to that run, he also did Iron Fist, my favorite run on Iron Fist. He started that too. He started a lot around that Civil War era that was really good. But when they, most people, a lot of people knew what was coming. And if you were in the know, you knew it was coming. And I kind of felt like it was coming. I was like, oh shit, they're going to kill Cap.
Oh yeah,
And when
yeah,
they killed
yeah,
Cap,
yep,
I was
yep, yep,
so pissed.
yep.
But
I
what they
remember.
did with Bucky afterward was really kind of interesting. With Bucky afterward was very interesting. And so there's ups and downs all the way through, but in reality, 2012, 2016, the comic book industry just fell off a
Yeah, it,
cliff.
it it's a shame. And then of course with the way we've gone digital with everything, just the
That
idea
was part
of
of the
of
problem
a,
too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the idea of getting comics in your hand and the tactile, feel of all that, it's just different, and it happens. It's evolution, man. Like it's when we were younger, there were older men going, Jackie Robinson was the best player I ever saw, you're whoever, right? You're
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I know who he is, but like, what are you talking about? Keith Hernandez, Don Mattingly, what are you talking about? It's
Don
like,
Mattingly. I wrote a book report on him.
nice. But it always happens. It's just an evolution. It is what it is with print and stuff, and I hate it, but again, not to belabor the point, I was glad to see these comics at a gas
Yeah.
station. That
That
was
that
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
So let's
Armor Wars and Invincible Iron Man are also really great runs. Menjoza, that's pretty cool too. I love it.
let's take a look at some of your picks, man, because you sent me some pretty badass picks. Crystal Ball, a few others.
Oh man, I've been having fun with him. One of
and
those is an upcoming pick on my IG, by the way.
and yes, Clint Keith does have a massive, awesome mustache, and plays it a little fast and loose on his broadcast. By the way, he's not afraid to point out people in the crowd. Um, so let's just take a spin through
Yeah,
these. What do you say?
yeah. So
It's some
that
great stuff, man.
that one's got a bunch of effects from that Atticus Doom Necroverse version, and the accessory pack, along with Crystal Ball. I did make one edit. I made the eyes glow a little bit more. The left
Okay.
eye didn't glow as much, so I made that one glow. So that's the only. Other than that, it was straight out of the camera.
Um, this is great.
That one's straight out of the camera at all, right? And
Yeah.
that's that Necroverse Atticus Doom. So he actually does glow in the dark. So it kind of shows the contrast for what glows and what doesn't.
Yeah. You can definitely see it, but I
Yeah,
love the colors.
yeah.
With the purple in the
Had
background.
so much fun with that. That
It's
was
awesome.
cool.
Todd C, what's going on, buddy? Um, boom. Right, got your boxes stacked,
Yep,
3 stacks to the max.
Max. Yeah. So that's two of them, and I threw them together, and I kind of wish I had two more. I could do something really cool with four of them, I think. But that two right there, that's going to be my configuration that I use.
It
So
looks good, and I'm sure you'll find a way to grab a couple more, won't you?
yeah, maybe we'll see.
We'll see. And then this one here, with the more kind of green and yellow mustard, maybe a color.
Yeah. So there's a lot
And
more
then
edit on this
yeah.
one.
Uh-huh.
So I took I took a straight no light photograph of just the glowing elements, and then I put those glowing elements in there, and then I had another image of his head that was lit a little bit differently, and I put those on top of the picture that I did there. So there's actually quite a bit of editing in this one, just to make the contrast. I love the contrast.
Dreadnought asks about your trench vipers.
Yeah, what about them?
Bad face mask. PRGs.
You know what? I generally keep the face down, the face mask down. The paint on there doesn't seem too bad.
Okay.
I hate the fact that they took the articulation away from the shield. The shield would spin, and now it doesn't, and it's super gummy. The figure itself though is fine, but the shield feels a little softer than I would like. But
He said that the posts for the face mask. Do they have bad posts? Okay.
You know what? Honestly, I think they're better than the previous versions, but they're so thin. Not the post, but the face mask itself is so thin. I always worry about it breaking, and that's on every version of the Alley Viper that they've made.
3-star's not sure he's going to open up his Portacobra yet. He's like, which
Man,
is unusual. That's unusual. No review. I'm surprised.
Hey, man, I will tell you that if you have two or more, you're going to have so much fun with it. If you have just one, I could see where it's going to be kind of a letdown.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, man. I got to look at that new Major Blood figure Saturday night, and I agree with 3-star. I didn't think they could improve upon the first one. Man,
Well, you know
that's a
what?
pretty sweet figure, dude.
I
Yeah.
would tell you that I almost repainted my original to be more color palette like that one. I was going to paint the red in there
Yeah, they
and make him
yeah.
pop a little bit, but now that they have some of the pinless parts in him,
Yeah,
so he's got
it's
different legs, which makes him taller. So he's actually taller than the original.
right.
You know, I'm kind of interested. At the same time, I love that original Major Blood. I've
I do
had such a good
too.
time with him.
I do too, but boy, the new paint apps that they put on this new figure, man, they
Yeah.
tightened it up. They even on the inside of the robotic arm, there's like a tube, and they painted that silver inside, just
Oh,
one,
nice,
just that tube.
nice,
Yeah, it's that figure's slick, man. That
nice.
figure is slick. So little polar bear action here, with Snake Eyes and Timber going
So
ape shit crazy.
if you know, you know, that's the scene from
Mm-hmm.
the Mass Device right
Right.
there.
Yep. Um, so
So if you
there's
don't have that snake, if you don't have the retro Snake Eyes, and
right.
you really wanted the retro Snake Eyes, you best pick up that polar bear set. Even if you don't want the polar bear, you can sell that polar bear for
Oh
40.
sure.
You can sell that polar bear for probably
Yes.
$40, and people
Yes.
will buy it because it's a darn good polar bear.
Yeah.
And people want just the polar bear. Some people want just the Snake Eyes, and if anybody wants just the Snake Eyes with all of his stuff, I've got it.
Yeah, there are plenty of people who just want the polar bear legend series during our conversation. That was
Yeah,
he
yeah,
remarked about that
that
more
polar
a
bear is
couple
awesome.
times.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, I just got it for the polar bear, and the maybe the mass device, So,
yeah,
um, cover girl
yeah.
hanging,
So
chilling.
again, another scene from the Mass Device. CoverGirl and Timber in the vamp with the crystals on top, ready to explode.
Looks good. Um, 3-star is willing to trade a breaker for a bear. And then
Hey,
here we go.
this was my snowcat picture. So this is for the final day of the snowcat. So if
That's great.
CoverGirl's got hers, do you have
That that,
yours?
that that cover girl figure looks fantastic.
Yeah,
It
yeah, I like
really
her.
does. I mean,
And look,
she really does look great.
yeah, so I've got one of my campfires and my little mini snowcat in there, and Flint and
Yep,
Lady
yep.
J looking on because I'm like, yeah, because they're part of this too. Hey, do you have
Right,
it? Go get
right.
it. Go get it. Yeah,
Um,
the polar bears. This one was so much fun. I love it because Lenny or whoever designed this thing to have this bloody meat underneath the fur showing through, and then you can put the arrows on top of it or just the fur on top of it.
right.
I that's so much fun. Um, so I posted this in a group that's not a GI Joe group, and somebody was going off because they're like a zoologist or whatever. They're getting their masters in biology, whatever, and they're like, but it doesn't look much like a polar bear. And I was like, but the Mythic Legions one is clearly a brown bear painted white. And he's like, well, yeah, that's clearly a brown bear painted white. This one looks more like a polar bear, but he was bashing on it, saying it doesn't even look like a polar bear. The face is all wrong. I'm like, dude, okay, we're talking about toys here, but even still, I get it. The Mythic
Yeah, I
Legions ones
mean,
is a brown bear painted white, and it just does not look like a polar bear.
um, but listen, we all have stuff that we find important.
Yeah,
War
Todd, see,
Chest is
this
here.
is absolutely more of a polar bear, and I've got one coming up that will prove the point.
Um,
I think I
the,
sent that one to you.
this is good. I think so. I may have one more.
Okay, I
Actually, because this is the.
the Monday photo, the polar bear Monday photo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually may have sent it to myself.
Okay,
I'll go back because I think I
if
sent
not,
it.
it's on my Instagram. We can go back and look
Okay.
at that. But yeah,
Um.
this is Timber Snake Eyes meeting for the first time in the Mass Device.
Yeah. The only thing about it with Snake Eyes is it's just the hands, right?
Yeah,
That are, it's the only thing that I kind of hate about this. That I kind of wish they'd have added a paint app to the entire figure just for that glow, or
I'm glad they didn't.
I figure a lot of people probably are.
Because okay, so do you have the 25th anniversary Mass Device version of Snake Eyes?
La, 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 la.
So I
I
have
can't
that.
remember.
I have that one,
I
and
can't
he
remember.
has
No, I don't. No, I don't.
he has semi-translucent parts throughout his body, and really, honestly, there's only one thing you can do with them. Have that canister strapped to his arm like this, because you have to have it strapped with the way he came in the package, and have him go through the whole thing, because the way he's designed, he can only be used for a couple of scenes.
See, that's that. Yeah,
This version of Snake Eyes, you can put the hands on him and he can have the stuff, and he can be irradiated, and you can add effects to photographs or whatever afterwards,
sure,
or you can put
sure.
the naked hands on him and have him be regular Snake Eyes through any other scene in that entire miniseries.
Yeah, I mean I get it, but like 3 star, I know he doesn't like just the fact that it's just the hands.
I don't think it
and
looks dumb, and they actually glow. So
I mean, and I'm with War Chest here. Enter John Hands from the Asian Tug Parlor. I mean, that's where we're at in today's society. Um, and Ben Joseph says really, really great shots, and they are, because you do
thank
good
you.
work on that. You absolutely do. Let's see quickly if I can. I did want to show off the His tank.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
So that one right there, I did a series of that. Honestly, um, this is a 3-star inspiration. He did some stuff with the snake armor out in the
Right.
woods and stuff, and the grass was just the right height, and I was like, oh, this will be awesome.
Yeah.
And I wanted to shoot. This is actually a comic book cover, for 157B cover, I think, from IDW.
Right.
And then with the Cobra Troopers and the His tank, and I always wanted to do it justice, and I thought I did a fairly good job here, and it got a little recognition today, so I was happy about that. That one was my Tuesday photo for today.
Um. Let's see. Right.
Thank you, Manjosa. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, man. I mean, like I said, they and 3 star says, is that referencing? He's asked what inspired that?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's a great picture.
Yeah. So the comic book and what you did with the snake armor in the woods. So yeah, there you go.
War Chest says, I got mine today. Those hands are strange and erotic, which is make anybody happy. And I agree. I think Snake Eyes does have a kink if he could only voice it out. But
there's no safe word with Snake Eyes.
There's no safe word with Snake Eyes. Only a safe motion, and even then, that's a little dicey, right?
You gotta be careful.
A little dicey. Let's see if I can find it. Otherwise, I'll take a look at your Monday, dude. But yeah, good stuff, man. I want to show them off. I mean, you had sent me a ton out. Some of them I think we even took a look at last week.
Yeah.
But I always like to look at them because I know you take a lot of pride in it, and it is cool. I love it. I mean, it's a skill that I don't have. Could it be learned? Absolutely, but it's
on my alternate account on IG.
Okay. So anyway, all right. As I try to dig that up, I will remind everybody I do have coming up. Let's see. Here we go.
There it is. Look at that.
That will premiere August 22nd, 2025. I will tell you that I decided I spent about 30 minutes outside before we even did the talking figures, and I came inside. It's pretty warm, so I cut my air down.
Oof.
And about 15 minutes in, I was freezing. I was freezing the entire time. And I should have said something because this is a recorded interview. But we're having such a great conversation. You're just going with the flow. But the whole time, literally, I was absolutely freezing. My hands, my toes, and we just kept rolling. But just keep that in mind. It's like great conversation, but holy moly, man! Like I was in misery. I'm not gonna lie, it was so funny, and we cracked up because he's like, it's like a meat locker in here, and then I'm like, and he goes, but I got this hoodie on, and I'm like, I wish I had a hoodie on. He's like, oh my god, I busted out laughing. I died laughing. It was so funny. But yeah, it was a good time. That's coming out on the 22nd. So
awesome.
if you guys want to watch that,
Good.
that'll be on Legend Series channel. It was a great time.
Awesome. Johnny Reno. Yeah. So there was a point in time where IG was restricting access to people based on their activity levels. So if you had increased activity, they like locked you out from being able to post and do other stuff. So I created an alternate account that I can post, and it can cross post to my main account should I want it to. Which because I could not post on my IG account for like a month and a half.
And is
Because,
that the one with the two? Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and which photo?
The Monday the polar bear Monday photo.
Oh, you talking about ass up?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. If you've seen the meme, you know. There's a polar bear who's running with his back legs and his front legs are just down, and he's just sliding across the ice. He's just walking in like that. This is the Monday photo for the polar bear. And I was like, this totally looks like a freaking polar bear right there to me. But yeah, so I had to create that alternate account because I was pretty much I could view my account, but I could not interact with my account for a month and a half. And there was nothing I could do about it. And basically IG's response was, well, you're screwed. I don't care. I had too much activity. It was not expected activity. So they're like, you've upped your activity levels.
How weird.
We think you're a bot. We're going to restrict your access.
Yeah, that's odd.
So yeah, that's the only reason I have a secondary account. But I started posting stuff over there. My B-sides are over there. And some of the stuff that I don't get to post on my main account gets put over there.
Well, obviously everybody here knows exactly where to go, and it is on the screen. So, and of course, you put out so much stuff that most people do check back in, right? You have to because you got a lot of stuff on there, continuously. So I kind of wanted to ask you about this. This kind of came up, like I said at the top. I've been following this AI music conversation with copyright, with who gets paid. If Spotify can create a fake artist and put out fake music and get millions of spins, and then they get all the money, right? They get everything involved with it. Now, some people would say, hey, that's a company, they can do that. But it just brings into question the idea that with AI, even with music, I do believe we will have a number one hit artist on the Billboard charts that is an AI artist. I do believe that will happen. I don't think people care. Do you think people give a shit if a movie script is written by AI? Do you think people give a shit at all?
If they can tell, they give a shit. If they can't tell, they don't give a shit.
And how will they be able to tell?
I mean, there are clear signs currently, because the AI hasn't learned enough to not do these things. That there are tells. There are always tells. So when we first ventured into the world of computer generated images, CGI content came into place. And the biggest conversation was the uncanny valley. So there's this thing that the eye picks up, the brain may not consciously comprehend, but it subconsciously comprehends. This is not right. This is weird. And so far, CGI has never been able to overcome it. Even today,
right?
CGI is known to be CGI because the eye can see it, and we know the uncanny valley. The same thing happens with writing. In my opinion, we are going to be able to forever see an AI script, even if it's really good and as tight as they can make it. There's always going to be something that is said or done if a human doesn't edit it. Because if a human and re-edits the AI script, then that's going to be different because people aren't going to be able to tell at that point
I hope
because
that's not me, by the way.
they'll be able
I
to
lost
spot
you a
the
little bit
AI.
there for a second. Um, I
Yeah, that might be you. You're freezing. I don't know. Is that me or is that him? It might be me. I don't know. You there? I can't hear you. Ah, I don't know.
no way. AI is erasing the stream,
Yeah,
Matthew.
right. As we're going live, so that I think that was you that froze there, right? Yeah, you're freezing. Oh no, Pop is frozen. Okay, yeah, I see it. Thank you, Ronnie. Um, yeah, I mean, I've never been a big fan of AI, but it is a tool. It's here. We're going to
Yeah.
use it, and it's going to be used. And if there's human intervention with the AI, at some point we won't be able to tell. But currently, if something is straight AI, we're gonna know.
Yeah, and I guess, look, visually, and hopefully the stream will stay. Hopefully it'll keep up. It's kind of freaking out right now. I mean, Ethernet fiber. I don't know what to say. It happens. Um, I think visually we can definitely tell, right? Like there's an uncanny valley. But I wonder with storytelling
Yeah.
whether or not, if something continues to get refined and
Well,
refined and refined
so
and
I
refined, that
well,
you eventually you're not going to be able to tell. But I do feel that's where a lot of those protections that, in one sense, like your writers union or your actors union is trying to fight against,
yeah.
which do make sense, right? Because those are
Yep.
jobs that creatives have, even if there's not as many anymore. Those are jobs that creatives have, and I could see a company wanting to save
Yeah, but
whatever those salaries are.
those unions have failed them
They have.
utterly and completely during this whole time frame. This whole recent thing that's been going on with AI and the strike that was going to happen and everything else. Guess what? The union screwed their constituents. All of them. They sold you out.
Right.
If you were part of a union and you pay dues to have your rights protected as an artist, as an actor, as a writer, as a person who participates in this, and Travis Moody can tell you, they try to pay these people like $50 and scan their image to use forever.
Right. Right.
Right. So the unions got screwed in all of this, and or their constituents did. The unions made out like a bandit because they're getting money anyway.
It, it
And this is the problem: is that you have to know your rights, you have to read your contracts, you have to do your due diligence.
I just wonder. So after after watching this almost 4 hour breakdown of Jurassic World Rebirth, or whatever you want to call it, I'm almost I'm almost convinced that they they may have used like Chat GPT,
So, well, I'm
like
sure they did.
to
I'm
to
sure they
to to
did.
write this movie.
I
There's some extremely nonsensical storytelling beats and moments, and like things that just don't make sense within the characters
Yeah.
from scene to scene.
Okay. So
And
here's the difference. Here's the difference. Okay, I believe that they may have used Chat GPT, but the script was written by people,
sure,
not smart people.
no.
And so this is the problem: is that they're going to rely more on Chat GPT and other methods to refine their scripts, and it's not going to be a good thing.
And the thing of it is, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's not like you have to reveal that. I mean, you can hide
Yeah.
that. I mean, let's not, they could say you can't use it to write a script, but the
Up until
reality
the
is,
AIs revolt and we're all doomed.
well, we know that's coming. But like it's not like you have to go, "Oh, by the way, this is what I used." No, you just say this is what I came up with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who's going to, well, we need to see your history. We need to go through your laptop, sir. I'm sorry. We need to see your, no, I mean, you just take credit for it.
Yeah.
I mean, and people that want to get somewhere will do whatever they can to get wherever they need to be. That's the
I,
reality.
I actually think that I agree with Tutsi. If they had used Chat GPT or some other AI software, it probably would have been a little bit better.
I actually agree. It's kind of funny though. You almost changed my mind, Todd, because it's very, very nonsensical. And you think, did they just kind of type up whatever they want, and then just kind of just use it? It's like, but you're probably right. It's a team of writers who are not talented, that just don't really understand the what the task
they have
they
no
were
life
given.
experience
Right.
to put in there to say, oh, this is human, this is not
I
human.
do I do wonder about the compensation part though, because and again, not just in movies, TV, and music, but just in other avenues, right? I mean, I had this conversation with War Chest. I mean, and have watched others. It's like graphic designers.
Yeah,
They're gone overnight.
yeah,
Gone.
yeah.
Those jobs are gone.
And it's a damn shame because those are some very talented people, and they're getting screwed out of a whole profession.
Yeah,
because of
you
this
spent thousands
bullshit.
of hours,
Yeah.
and that's where the music conversation comes in. Now,
Yeah.
I think musicians are a protected class because you can always go play live, all
Yeah.
right? And AI can't do that. But I do feel like, if you put in tens of thousands of hours learning how to be the best guitarist in your town,
Yeah.
and literally someone who has zero talent can create a composition that can play better than you. I think that's a weird place to be.
Devil's advocate. There are people out there saying, look, some people have an idea, but they don't know how to execute it. They use this to help them execute the idea. I was like, well, guess what? Devil's advocate, I understand that rationale, but guess what? What you should do is you go out and hire somebody to help you, to consult with you to make it. Right. And this is what ghostwriters do. This is what other people, they consult with other people with actual talent and skill, so that you're combining the two, that your concept and their skill, to make something better. Right.
Yeah.
Rather than stealing the skill from hundreds of different people to forge your idea and move it forward, because that is literally stealing.
Right. I mean, it's just, but is it?
Yeah.
Originality is just plagiarism undetected. And we're all influenced by something, right?
Well,
songwriters, musicians, people that write movies, actor, right? Like, so some people, it's a very difficult place to be.
Some people will say there's only 7 stories ever told, and some people say there's only 4 stories ever told, and everything else is just a variation of that. And guess what? You're probably right, because to make it entertaining or make it interesting, it probably has to be in one of those 7 categories.
It has to follow a pattern.
It has to follow a pattern. Otherwise, humanity, our consciousness, will not accept it. Our internal beings will not accept it.
So
and Todd, see, it is inevitable. It is a tool. It is, and if it is used as a tool, it can be useful, right? And it can help people do things, but it is stealing the resources from other people.
It's an interesting topic. I'm probably going to talk about the music part of it on my next live stream on Sunday, barring that I can get some sleep. But I do find it an interesting topic, and it has come up obviously out in Hollywood with the writers, and then obviously with the usage of actors' likenesses, and their families, and how much control do families have over that. If that artist or actor signs a contract, then after they pass, can there be the family somehow try to challenge those things if they're not comfortable with that? I mean, there's just so many different avenues to go down with it, but I find it interesting because I do use AI like a little bit in writing some scripts and stuff like that. I've used it, not much.
Hey, Menjoza, ask Roland Emmerich, because Frequency was completely stolen from another person who wrote that entire script, and he stole it straight out, made a whole freaking movie called Frequency with a stolen script, and had to settle out of court or in court, through the court process to
Right.
pay that person their dues because it was their freaking script that he stole. And that was a human to human interaction. You know, AI is not much different.
I think and yeah, I mean, rightfully, obviously, I mean, and
What
I
does
don't
rightfully
know.
come by it mean? If you
Well, right.
rightfully came by it, then it came solely from you,
If I guess
not from other things.
right. Um, I
So
mean,
so if you use AI, it's not coming from you, it's coming from other things.
which you know, obviously, it is an amalgamation of everything that's been fed into it, right? So it has to pull from resources to create.
Yeah.
But we do the
And
same thing, right?
if you use AI using all of your own artwork, your own creations,
Okay,
and
now
you put
see,
that into the
yeah,
AI,
I
and
get what
then
you're
you put it
saying.
in a new
Right,
prompt,
right,
and then
right,
it
right.
creates something, that's totally different.
You're
But
right.
if you
You're
are
right.
using the prompt from other sources,
Right.
then you are stealing.
It is interesting, but that is a great point. Right? Like if you wrote 50 songs and then you wanted to have a reflection of maybe an AI version of you and you upload your music and then you type in to follow your voice and blah 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 whatever. Uh, yeah, that is one way, I guess. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That
Mendoza, if you bought a script from somebody, then it is not rightfully yours. You may own that script, but it's not really yours because you purchased it from somebody else. So you
well,
didn't create it. You just own it. Because you own
yeah,
something
there's
doesn't
definitely a
mean you
different yeah.
created
Yeah,
something.
there's definitely a difference between like those two things. It's the same thing as like a company, for instance, Disney buys up a lot of properties, right?
Yes.
It's not that they're creating, they just say, "Hey, you know what? We bought the NFL network, right?
Yeah.
We bought Fox Studios, right? We bought." So it's not like they're creating, they're just buying, collecting, right? And then, anything that came out, they could say, Disney, Spider-Man, whatever.
So
Um,
so then Mendoza, you're saying that Bob Iger created all of the MCU, right? He created everything in the MCU because he bought it. And he created everything from Star Wars because he bought it. Okay,
it,
so
it,
that doesn't make sense. A fucking weatherman who knows shit about creativity bought shit and tries to sell it back to you, and so he's the creative now because clearly that's the line of that's the thought process that's going down there.
yeah, it's weird. I just think that as it gets more and more refined, like right now, I think you can tell AI music from each other. And yes, I did
Yes.
plagiarize this hat from Michael. Okay, let's
Absolutely. You know what? And if you give credit where credit is due, nobody cares, right? Because if Viper Island gave
okay.
credit where credit was due, nobody would
You're
give a shit
you
about that.
are you are correct, right? Um, and so I think a lot of people will be forgiving when people reference and credit like where maybe their inspiration came from. Maybe it makes them like something even more. But I think with the AI conversation, I just feel like yeah, if you listen to an AI tune right now,
Yeah. Oh, you know the
you can
difference.
there's little tells in there, right? You can
Yeah.
tell as it refines, as it gets more and more
Right.
refined,
Yeah.
I think that ability to discern between what's real and what's not a real artist is going to be harder and harder
Yeah.
and harder
It is.
to
It's going to
come
get
by.
harder. I agree.
And the economy
Yep.
changes, right, of the industry after that.
And it
So,
totally has. Mendoza, I'm not being hyperbolic. If you listen to Bob Iger, he claims creative control over Disney. Purchased these
yeah.
things,
Yep, yep.
and he's claiming creative control over it. He has stated this. He has built his reputation on this. So he is saying, I created this. Look at what I did. And that's why he gave it over to Bob Chapek. So Bob Chapek could run it into the ground and he could come back and take it back over and say, look, he fucked it all up, not me, even though all those decisions were mine, because I own this creative property. I purchased these things. So now I own them, and now I am responsible for everything that comes out of it, and I am under the guise of creative control, which he distributes to other people, but ultimately he is the head of the brand. So it's not really hyperbolic. It's actually what he stated.
Yeah, I think, the language always kind of gets changed, right? How it's described, right? I mean, it's, you know, it,
But he does own it.
it,
He is the head of Disney, and he's the one who purchased it. So he says he owns it.
I would definitely say that if you ever read about any of those purchases, he generally gets the credit
Yes.
for going out and bringing in these other things under the
Yeah, he lied to
umbrella.
Lucas.
You
He
know,
lied to everyone when he bought Lucasfilm.
kind of, again, just kind of looked at as a collector. But the truth of
Yeah.
the matter is that's kind of what has happened. And look, that's the way they felt like their business model needed to go. Is they just need to go out and buy up a bunch of
And
properties.
he gets all the money from it. He gets all the money from it. And he distributes that as he sees fit
Right.
as the CEO.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's interesting, but I just think that when it comes to the AI part of it, I do think that it will be more difficult, as more and more people,
he
as the
didn't
barrier to
retire though. He said he retired, but he didn't leave his office. He was still there the whole time, manipulating everything.
Mr. Wonderful. So
What's up, Mr. Wood? What's
but
up, Travesty?
I think that now that the barrier to entry for using AI programs is so low now,
Yeah.
that it creates an interesting conundrum because of there's no skill level required, only your ability to refine
Yep.
the engine into what you want it to be, right? And so it's interesting. Like I said, I'll probably talk a little bit more about it on the music part of it and the philosophical part of that on Sunday night. I got to tell you, I'm about out of gas, Matthew.
Yeah, I
If
gotcha.
that's okay, I'm
Yeah.
I'm running on fumes, man. Um, and we always appreciate you guys every week. Really
Thanks for the
appreciate it.
interaction. We love you guys. We love the conversations. It's
Absolutely.
always
Even
awesome.
even when it
Even
gets
when I get
heated.
heated. Yeah,
Yep. Even
I
when it
love
gets
it.
heated.
I love it. I
Uh,
hope you guys understand it's all in love.
yeah.
I'm just, passionate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you had discussions about stuff that you do care about. And so uh, I will be on with 3 Star Draw tomorrow night on Seven's Wild, with him on his channel tomorrow night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And then Talking Figures comes out August 22nd. If you guys want to check that out, my Talking Figures with Legend series was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We get into some interesting topics, talk some wrestling. You guys probably don't know how big a wrestling fan I was as a kid. And then Sunday night, obviously, Unfiltered. And I will definitely do a stream this upcoming Sunday. I apologize for missing the one this past week, but I've just wiped out. Matthew, I know you got some picks coming up every day. And anything else that you want to mention before we bounce out of here?
I don't have anything in particular coming up
Okay.
other than my photos, and you'll catch me on some live streams here and there.
Love it.
People invite me on sometimes. I go on and we have a good time. I love all you guys. I'm having a great time with all this stuff. I hope you guys are too, even with the passionate discussions. I know GI Jetman sometimes comes in and out, and I do appreciate you. And I love to have arguments with people about stuff. And it's all in good fun because
Yeah.
we love this shit.
Yep.
We
Yep.
love it, and having conversations about it is just good fun, good debate, conversation, food for thought.
Yep. I love it. So look, we'll see you guys next week. And try to find out if we can dig up a little news. Pop culture is an everyday thing. That cycles
Yeah.
every day. Something new could pop up. You could have the best laid plans, and then Tuesday day, some news comes down, and it's like, okay, well,
Boom.
let me grab this. So, but you guys have a great night. Really appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys next week. Until then, peace out, y'all.